called Reacts, and I'm reacting to something very specific. Of course, you've seen the title by now. You know the news by now. You may even have watched the whole fight on Friday, or bits and pieces like I did, or watched part of the replay gang on whoever it is decided to stream that fight. All right. Fight, of course, I'm talking about is the Tyson Paul fight, where I predicted. What did I predict? Here's what I had predicted originally. So I said Tyson in 4 rounds. Keeping in mind, and I'll tell you the reason why I said Tyson in 4 rounds. And then I'm just going to mix it up a little bit. I just want this to be, real short, 10-ish minutes, 10, 15 minutes. It should be 10 or 15 minutes as I talk about this. All right. Little old school footage in the background. The title, as you can see, is Still Mike, as in still Dre, still Ray, any of this stuff. Because I believe, in my opinion here, this doesn't change my opinion about Mike Tyson, this cash grab, this generation, this social media fight. This wasn't a heavyweight bout. This was a social media bout. But anyway, let's take it back. Because I keep, it's hard to get started on some stuff and then you're not talking about it anymore and you just get tracked in one way. So, let me, for the ones that only watch this because it was hype. I remember a time with my uncles, my pops, when they would get a pay-per-view fight. There was no internet. All right, a pay-per-view was exactly that. It wasn't every weekend like a UFC or mixed martial arts fight and stuff like that. A big ticket was exactly that, man. A big ticket. What is that song, Roy Jones? Y'all must have forgot. Y'all must have really, really, really forgot who Mike Tyson is. Mike Tyson with the checkered past, yeah. And I guess we could get into a little bit about that depending on how you feel and whatnot. He started this business as a kid. And not even a kid from the gutter, the kid from a sewer. So you can't even say a bad neighborhood. He was just so in the concrete that there was no hope for this guy other than, the hope that his trainer, Gus, gave to him through taking him in, I believe even legally adopting him and training him to become the fighter he became, in the 80s and 90s, right? So for you social media and millennial people and people that are just watching this to be in, because it was on social media and stuff like that. Mike Tyson, all right, put back a year ago, Mike Tyson was like, shit. He was another M. He was another Mike. He was another Mike like Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, Mike Tyson. He was another one. He was another phenomenon. He was greatness. Besides him just being great and a great persona and what you wanted your boxer to be. We're not talking about, a person in his private life. You wanted somebody who was going to jump in the ring to be ferocious. Let's just stop the bullshit about, your boxers being refined, especially back in those days and leading up to the decades or from the decades into the 80s and the 90s as well. All right. They wanted vicious fighter beasts in the ring. You can't have it two ways. All right. But we had some very articulate, very intelligent men, particularly black men, if that's what we're going to be speaking about, like Muhammad Ali, Jack Johnson, Joe Louis, some of the others just to mention. Those were gentlemen outside the ring, and I would say inside the ring for the most part, as well. All right. So let's not act like we want this refined type of human being on the outside and they're going to, know how to play both sides. We knew exactly what Mike Tyson was. This is the guy that came in the ring with no socks, a towel around his neck with a hole cut out for his head. I think at a couple points, barely laced up shoes, and unless it was regulation, just ending rounds in about the first round or two. People made jokes about Mike Tyson. They went to the concession stands or went to take a bathroom break in like the first round so they could sit down and enjoy it. Because back then, rounds were going past 12, 15. You were definitely getting your money's worth seeing two heavyweights slug it out round after round after round. But here comes Mike Tyson, like any other phenomenon, came up and changed the game. He came in, as you see, you know, he was so powerful. He was this and that. What I don't like about Jake Paul saying he didn't feel his power. Of course, he didn't feel his power 30 years later at 58 years old, you idiots. Anyway, I don't even want to get into so much of the back and forth of what occurred. But I just want you to remember who Mike Tyson was. Like anybody in the game who was filled with, look at the size, filled with excess and lifestyle and things handed to you. I believe his life did get out of control, like anybody that you know, man. Anybody that you know had a wild lifestyle back in those days. And there weren't quite the drug laws and penalties and demonize and vilification of drugs, especially cocaine, as there are today, right? That was different. That was different. But not saying that to excuse any behaviors, this, that, the other. This man came to the ring. He did what he was supposed to do. And many say what was part of his downfall was switching his management team into Don King, who could give a crap about what your skin color is, who you are, your well-being, anything like that, as long as the color that he was seeing was green, right? True individual. And then we know Tyson got caught up with a female that, you know, at the time it seemed like he could have been guilty, but as history would come out and prove, whether you believe Tyson put himself in that situation or the situation was kind of coerced toward him, kind of like a Tupac thing and some of the other famous people who have got caught up with females. And I don't want to put this on the whole case. I'm definitely sympathetic towards any SA or misconduct or Me Too, anything like that has roots, that are in the roots of injustice and anything happening to a female that way. But I'm equally against the injustice of using that as a mechanism to track men and stop some of our greats. And I'm only saying that because it seems like that way with some of the things that we've seen in history that turned out to put some of our people down and turn out not to be true a couple of years later. But these were the catalysts that were used to pull these men from their livelihood, you know, and then everything goes downhill almost from there. So we know a lot of these things. And again, that's up for your judgment. I'm not trying to persuade you any way of that. This is a male, and with the information that's out there, I just know kind of what I think with that. All right. Now, we know how many years did Kobe have in the league? How many years is LeBron going to have in the league, or anybody like that? People cannot do sports forever. All right, these are not like accounting jobs or jobs of police officers or teachers. You're not doing this for 20 years, 30 years, you know, all of that as well. There is more of a less play time, less of the career time because of what your body goes through, right? Mike Tyson did his work. In my vision, going through this was a bit selfish because I wanted some of this old school stuff back. We all want to see Mike doing what he used to do. All right, I don't think there's a person out here who's seen Mike in the last few years. I don't know if you believe in redemption, maybe believing that he redeemed himself. They've got a chance to hear his thought process, to hear what he has been going through, to hear his growth as well, to hear his intelligence. Um, to hear things that he may have been sorry about, and able to go back and contemplate of how things would be different as well, which is very powerful. These are lessons that we need to take away as men, as a community. That any mistakes were made. Lives aren't made to be perfect like that. You do make mistakes, but when you do make the 180, and you're able to see your faults and even some of your regrets, but even how you would change that as well. I think that's very powerful stuff, right? And we've seen a lot of that with Tyson also. So he was a boy in the game, not excusing any of his actions, anything that he said that was so vile. I put that in the realm of competition, and that's who the crowd wanted to see. That's what the audience and the demographic required at the time. So he was given a little bit. Now, if you want to go into the Evander Holyfield thing, I don't know. He said it was being headbutt. But then again, it's all in the realm of this entertainment thing that would lead you up to Jake Paul as well, right? So, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, like I said, my prediction was 4 rounds Mike Tyson because I thought that he was training and he looked very prepared for this fight. Now, make no mistakes, man. 58, it's not that old. You could still do stuff with fighting and training. You really don't know how much those years, especially kind of like Mike, if you're not taking care of yourself, and we know he wasn't, right? He had a few bad habits, a lot of bad habits for a lot of time that really deteriorates your body and your mind, right? And again, not saying that to excuse Tyson or anything, because what this was to me, this was not a continuation of the Mike Tyson heavyweight that we're accustomed to. This was a social media fight, not a heavyweight fight, but a social media fight where 2 icons sort of got together and they got paid, got good money. I'm glad Tyson is able to get the money that maybe he should have earned or regained some of the money that he squandered in the past, to get his life right and to enjoy the rest of retirement and a healthy lifestyle, right? For Jake Paul, I don't know. You can't feel proud about this. I think I heard him say that also. This is nothing that you could brag about. You didn't beat Mike Tyson. You beat a version of a later, older, tired Mike Tyson, which I'm sure good for the workout. It was what it was, but let's not make it a bigger deal than it actually is. All right. There were notes on the fight saying I've seen some close-up footage. I don't know if I agree where they say Tyson could have unloaded a few times, or it seems very scripted. It almost seemed like some would related to like a ballet dance, choreographed, where they knew where the hits were going and how to hit and how to hit so hard. So I don't know. I think it looked like Tyson was going into this very focused, and I felt like he had it, but I also feel like I was very biased with my thought as well, because I wanted to see what I saw like over 30 years ago. And if you just think about it, that is crazy to think that a man, even as a physical specimen as Tyson is, would come up 30 years later after doing all that stuff, even with some training, because he's a fighter. He knows how to get back into shape if he really wanted it. So I think part of it was kind of like fooling himself. I think part of it was Jake Paul. I don't want to taking advantage of the situation, but not quite in that way. Taking advantage of social media stardom, and maybe a Tyson who, beyond being physically fit, maybe craved some of that spotlight that he had before. And, it's just what it was. I don't think this tarnishes like a lot of people were saying. And guys, man, we are so quick to just trash our people. They're just ready to throw Mike Tyson aside, say his image is tarnished and this and that. And it's like, dude, who are you? Who are people to judge this man for coming on and do this? Sure, there's things that you think you could do. There's things and marathons that I run thinking that I could make the same times that I used to make, and I simply can't. Because even though I'm still in pretty decent shape, I've treated myself like shit over the years too. And yeah, some of that stuff catches up with you and stays with you, man. And that's basically what that is. So Mike Tyson is still Mike Tyson to me. This Jake Paul shit. I don't even think it was a real fight. I do think they treated it more like a exhibition fight, which is fine with me. I think everybody sort of got what they want from this, and I hope Mike doesn't fight again. He doesn't need to. He doesn't need to prove anything to anybody, and nobody really should. I mean, a few boxers came out and said, I wouldn't fight Mike. Like, I would just leave that, where it is as well. Maybe Mike Tyson had different reasons for coming up and fighting, and that's on him. But as a fan, as a real fan and a person that was around back in the day when Mike people was knocking people out, and don't tell me you know who Mike Tyson is. Don't be one of these kids today having a LeBron and Jordan debate, and all you did is see Jordan on YouTube talking about how he plays. That is different shit. All right, you don't know what Mike Tyson was. All right, and all that against even back in the 80s and 90s when they weren't going for unrefined individuals. All right, everybody that I mentioned, like the Michael Jackson, Jordan, all these guys, they needed like Jordan needed speech classes. They needed mentorship, guidance before they said a word out in public as well. And Tyson was just as raw as you got. And you know what, man? That's just what it is. So again, I forgot to put a couple tags up because I just started talking about it. Hope I answered a few questions. Not really going back on my word, and maybe I'm still being a little old and stubborn, man. I think Tyson was just being a little careful, but does he have some of that, beast in him? I think he does have some of that beast in him. All right. Thanks for watching. Definitely appreciate you being here. Do me a favor, subscribe to Last Call. Putting out every week so far, which is going pretty good. Have an audience when I go to speak about a few things. Got a couple on the replay gang, and I totally appreciate anybody that comes through and wants to tap in or has comments afterwards or just checking me out in the replay gang. So continue to do that for me, please. Please like, share, and subscribe. Come check me out anytime. Leave me a message in the comments or wherever. I think my email is posted up there too. And I definitely try to get back to you. You could even let me know if you got topics and subjects that you want me to cover too. Other than that, a lot of things I don't get too deep into. I don't do the Hollywood sleuth or back and forth on that sort of stuff that I know is very popular too. So, still early, still trying to find my niche with this as well, with a good audience. So thanks for coming through. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll be seeing you. Be good.